In a world of secrecy, a mother shields her son from the truth of his origins, bestowing upon him the name Chad. Their humble existence revolves around their cherished cow, Rosette, who serves as their main source of income. Despite their meager circumstances, they find solace in their contented lives until one fateful, stormy night. Manuel, the husband and father figure, returns home to a shocking revelation. His wife has been clandestinely caring for a young boy, unbeknownst to him, for the past 10 years. Consumed by anger, Manuel's heart is devoid of compassion as he contemplates the absence of a substantial reward. In a moment of callousness, he resolves to sell the boy for a mere pittance, dismissing any concerns for his well-being. Little does Manuel comprehend the true value of the boy, a precious gem beyond measure. Meanwhile, Manuel ekes out a living toiling in the quarry, dedicating countless decades to his trade. But destiny had other plans in store for him. On a day that would forever alter his life's course, a catastrophic incident befell him, inflicting severe injuries that rendered him incapable of pursuing his craft as a master stonemason. Plunged into a state of desperation, burdened by mounting legal expenses, he took pen to paper and penned a heartfelt plea to his beloved wife, beseeching her for a sum of 100 francs, a lifeline that could potentially secure the restitution he so desperately sought. Tragically, destiny deals a cruel hand, as Manuel not only suffers an injury, but also squanders their entire wealth. Left with no other choice, his wife reluctantly sells their cherished cow, their main source of income. However, even this sacrifice fails to provide the necessary remedies. In a cunning plot, Manuel tricks his wife into allowing Chad to accompany him to the town hall under the pretense of seeking assistance. Filled with hope and trust, Chad eagerly follows his foster father into town. Little does he know Manuel's true intention is to abandon him at the orphanage and escape. As Chad realizes the truth and tries to flee, Manuel persists, prompting the entire town to give chase until they find themselves in a bustling bar. Amidst the chaos, a traveling artist named Jay Tales and his troupe, including the talented dog Roy and the endearing monkey Lovely Tales, enter the scene. Upon hearing of Chad's plight, Joel offers to temporarily care for the boy by renting him for a year. In dire need of money, Manuel reluctantly agrees to the arrangement, a fleeting wicked grin dancing across his face as he anticipates the financial benefits that will come from Chad joining Joel's troupe. Helpless and unable to resist, Chad is mercilessly sent away by his foster father, a mere 35 cents exchanged for his freedom. Joel, treating him like a captured beast, tightly secures his hands with a belt, ensuring there is no chance of escape. And so it begins. Chad departs from the only home he has ever known, robbed of the chance to bid farewell to his beloved foster mother, who would have moved mountains to prevent this transaction. Embarking on a journey through the winding roads of France, Chad finds himself one night cautiously untying the belt that keeps him bound, desperately attempting to flee. However, his hopes are swiftly crushed as Joel catches him in the act. But Joel clarifies to the young boy that he is simply presenting him with an opportunity for a more promising existence. Unbeknownst to Chad, their lives had intertwined in the past. One fateful evening, as Joel stumbles upon Chad's melodious humming within the humble cottage, he becomes instantly enthralled by the enchanting timbre of the boy's voice. Joel, in stark contrast to Manuel, proves himself to be a compassionate and affable individual, providing Chad with far more enjoyable company. Not only does he impart upon Chad the knowledge of singing, harp playing, and reading, but he also teaches him the art of writing. As Chad's writing skills develop, he seizes the opportunity to correspond with his foster mother, divulging intricate details about his nomadic existence. Unveiling another layer of Joel's past, Chad uncovers his former life as a renowned violinist, basking in the glory days of his musical career. Over time, Chad's voice flourishes, captivating all who have the privilege to listen to his mesmerizing and infectious melodies. The duo's talents are showcased amidst the elite, performing for the noble class. However, it is on a serene river vessel, in honor of the owner's daughter's birthday extravaganza, that Chad's path intertwines with Stella. Stella, ensnared by the rare condition of coxalgia, which confines her to a wheelchair, finds solace in the companionship of Chad. A profound bond blossoms swiftly between the two children, bringing immense joy to Stella's mother, who is elated to witness her daughter finally finding a playmate. In a sudden turn of events, the local authorities unexpectedly apprehend Joel on charges of exploiting the animals, a direct violation of the city's regulations. Joel is swiftly taken into custody, but Chad remains steadfastly by Stella's side. With Joel behind bars, Chad steps up as the primary pillar of support for the ailing girl, their bond growing even stronger. In a moment of vulnerability, Chad opens up to Stella about his own past, revealing the significance of the blanket that had once swaddled him as an abandoned infant. Consumed by guilt over his wife and children's tragic fate, Joel chooses to keep Stella's true identity a secret, leading to his 2-month sentence. Finally, the day arrives when Joel is released, and Chad rushes off the riverboat to embrace him tightly. Stella's mother extends an invitation for Joel to join them for lunch, expressing her heartfelt desire to keep Chad as a cherished brother figure for her daughter. In light of this revelation, Joel comprehends the potential for a secure and predictable existence that awaits Chad. However, he holds the firm belief that the young lad deserves the chance to venture out into the vast expanse of the world. With unwavering conviction, he conveys to Stella's mother that the ultimate decision lies in the hands of Chad himself. The freedom to either remain in his current surroundings or embark on a journey alongside Joel. Chad possesses a deep understanding of his desires, despite the allure of a comfortable and affluent lifestyle. True to expectations, he chooses to depart alongside his master, bidding farewell to Stella with a promise to reunite soon. Unfortunately, his time spent in prison exposes him to a roommate afflicted with tuberculosis, leading to his own contraction of the disease. As his condition deteriorates, their journey slows, and they fail to find a suitable resting place before nightfall. It is at this moment that tragedy strikes. The monkey's instincts kick in, urging it to swiftly ascend a nearby tree. With a growing sense of unease, they turn to see a pack of menacing wolves closing in on them. The wolves' sharp fangs instill fear, prompting a frantic escape. Thankfully, they spot a small cabin not too far away. In a courageous act, Roy charges at the wolf pack, buying them precious moments of safety. Fortunately, Roy's injuries are only minor, allowing them to seek shelter in a small cabin for the entire night. The following morning, they emerge in search of the little monkey, but unfortunately, its fate is far less fortunate. Enduring a freezing night outside, the monkey suffers severe injuries. Joel takes Chad to a hotel, utilizing their last remaining savings to bring the town's most skilled doctor to treat the injured primate. However, the doctor delivers a grim prognosis, revealing that the monkey's time is limited. Concerned for the old man's health, the doctor urges immediate treatment, warning of potential risks. Yet, Joel keeps his illness concealed from Chad, fully aware of their financial constraints, preventing them from affording both the room and the monkey's care. In the midst of uncertainty, he finds himself grappling with the question of who will tend to the young boy and Roy in his absence. Seeking to bring solace to the child, Joel devises a plan to captivate the hotel guests with a mesmerizing performance, hopeful that their generosity will offer them a much-needed reward. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the bustling hotel, the elderly man retrieves his long-abandoned violin from its hiding place. With each stroke of the bow, his extraordinary talent reverberates through the room, leaving everyone, including Chad, in awe. The audience erupts in a thunderous applause, their pride for the old man evident. Grateful for their appreciation, he manages to gather enough money to care for his monkey companion and cover the cost of the violin's rental. Just as they are counting their hard-earned earnings, a graceful woman approaches them, her eyes filled with a nostalgic gleam. She confesses that his performance transported her back to her childhood, where she witnessed a virtuoso violinist captivate a crowd. A wave of unease washes over Joel as he realizes that she may have recognized his true identity. In a flurry of nerves, he hastily reassures her that he is nothing more than a humble performer, fortunate enough to have learned from the greats. Despite the woman's initial skepticism, she decides to leave a precious gold coin for them. Chad's heart swells with excitement upon receiving the coin, prompting him to dash up the stairs to his room and share the news with the monkey. However, tragedy strikes unexpectedly as they discover that the monkey has already succumbed to its illness. Overwhelmed with grief, the old man and Chad search for a suitable spot to lay the monkey to rest. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, a letter addressed to Chad arrives. It is from Stella, who informs him that her mother has identified the unique claw found on Chad's blanket. This claw is known to belong exclusively to a noble family in London. Stella's mother has taken it upon herself to reach out to her acquaintances in the hopes of locating Chad's parents. A few weeks later, a barrister named Dylan Cadell responds to the letter, stating that he is acquainted with Chad's parents. Filled with overwhelming joy, Chad finishes reading the letter and wastes no time. He extends an invitation to us and Roy, and together they embark on a journey to meet Dylan Cadell. In a whirlwind of events, they find themselves gathered in the barrister's office. Dylan meticulously inspects the fabric of Chad's blanket, confirming that he has finally located the child he has spent years searching for. With a sense of astonishment, Dylan reveals to them the astonishing truth. Chad is the long-lost offspring of the esteemed Derrick family. Eager to shed light on Chad's origins, the barrister leads them to what is believed to be Chad's ancestral abode. As they step foot into the Derrick residence, Chad is enveloped in a heartwarming reunion with his parents, their elation palpable. The Derricks, in a moment of vulnerability, disclose the painful secret that Chad was snatched away as a helpless infant, a victim of a woman's vengeful plot. It transpires that Mr. Derrick had engaged in an affair, unbeknownst to his wife, who was expecting their own child. Upon discovering the truth, the woman concocted a sinister scheme to exact revenge and steal their precious baby. Despite the story presented, Joel maintains a sense of doubt, understanding that Chad's foster father had previously stated that he witnessed a man abandoning the infant in a basket, not a woman. A moment of silence passes as Mr. Derrick ponders, but Dylan steps in to offer a possible explanation, proposing that the man may have had an accomplice. With a heavy heart, Joel and Chad part ways, their farewell filled with bitterness. Dylan, the caretaker of Joel, hands over some money to ensure Chad's well-being during their separation. Once Joel leaves, Chad rushes upstairs to his bed, overcome with sorrow, tears streaming down his face. In the dead of night, Chad is jolted awake by the sound of water trickling from above. Grabbing a lantern, he ventures outside, only to be greeted by the sight of snowflakes falling gently from the sky. As he surveys his new surroundings, an unsettling feeling washes over him. His gaze falls upon a mysterious cupboard, its lock yielding to his touch. What he discovers inside is nothing short of horrifying. Gold-plated human teeth and a collection of stolen watches. It becomes clear to Chad that the Derricks, the people he believed to be his parents, are not who they claim to be. Overwhelmed by the revelation, Chad prepares to make his escape, but fate intervenes. Just as he's about to flee through the front door, Derek appears, sending a chill down Chad's spine with a menacing threat. Despite his fear, Chad manages to break free, only to find himself confronted by Dylan and his men blocking his path. He clarifies that the Derricks aren't his kin, though Dylan is already aware. He pushes the lad indoors, and while he and his cohorts linger outside for the deed to be done, Mrs. Derrick commands her spouse to dispatch Chad. Right as Mr. Derrick raises a hammer to strike the lad, Joel and his loyal dog Roy show up just in the nick of time to rescue Chad. Roy deftly seizes Derrick's arm by the neck, and Joel incapacitates Mr. Derrick and demands elucidation. It's then disclosed that Dylan Cadell is Chad's true uncle, entitled to an inheritance since Chad's biological father's demise. Yet upon learning that Chad survived, Dylan didn't want to jeopardize the inheritance, so he instructed the Derricks to dispose of the child. Nevertheless, this wasn't the first time Dylan had ordered Chad's demise. A decade ago, he was the very individual who ordered the infamous hit on Chad. But Mr. Derrick couldn't bring himself to slay an innocent child. Thus, he left baby Chad at the church. Seizing him by the neck, Joel presses for information about Chad's mother. Reluctantly, Mr. Derrick discloses Mrs. Cadell's whereabouts. Joel and Chad swiftly depart Derrick's abode in search of Chad's mother, yet they confront an immense challenge as heavy snow blankets the road. Adding to their plight, Chad stumbles en route. Joel, with sheer determination, carries his son through the relentless snowstorm. They, along with Roy, seek refuge near a shed for the night, though Joel's condition deteriorates. The next morning, Chad awakens cradled in his father's arms, but Joel remains unresponsive. Chad's cries catch the attention of nearby security guards. Rescued, the boy slips into a coma induced by the brutal weather. Eventually, he awakens to find himself wrapped in a cozy blanket. Upon surveying his surroundings, he notices a woman standing beside him. Inquiring about his well-being, she delivers the news that Chad's master didn't make it. Overwhelmed, Chad succumbs to tears once more, realizing his master was his sole remaining family. The woman facing him is none other than Mrs. Cadell, Chad's biological mother, unbeknownst to her. Despite Dylan Cadell's pressing, he refrains from disclosing Chad's identity, insisting on taking him away. Mrs. Cadell stipulates that Chad can only depart once he's fully recovered. Meanwhile, a servant rummages through Chad's possessions, stumbling upon a piece of paper. Presenting it to Mrs. Cadell, she discovers the truth about her son. Subsequently, Chad awakens and pays a visit to Mrs. Cadell, who confronts him about his history. The found paper, containing a poignant song lyric, sparks the revelation. As a child, Cadell's mother would sing her lullabies, and she passed on the tradition to Chad. Unknown to them, Chad internalized the melody and would spontaneously sing it during performances with his master and their troupe. Finally, after years apart, mother and son reunite in a heartfelt embrace. Time passes swiftly, and Chad, now in his 80s, has aged gracefully. His music still captivates audiences, but he chooses not to pursue a professional career in music. Instead, he dedicates himself to running an orphanage, offering homeless children the loving environment he received from Joel. Despite the years spent searching for his birth parents, Chad considers himself lucky to have encountered many caring individuals who shaped his childhood and allowed him to share his life's journey with others.